Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Success Life Live. My name is Eric Greid. This is Success Life Live. We gather here every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern to get our success thinking right, to begin to develop the mindset and the habits that we need to grow and live a life of success. And so I am so glad you've taken time out of your morning or afternoon or evening if you're catching this live replay or somewhere around the world. I'm glad you jumped in. Oh my gosh, Joe is in the house. What does that mean for all of us? Phenomenal rethought, recalibrating, refocusing. Joe's like that magnifying glass, that microscope thing that like takes the stuff and then like refines it. He's a goldsmith. That's what you are, Joe. Good morning, Margaret. Good morning, Rajan. Good morning, Matthew. Buenos dias, Damien. AJ is getting so big. He's not the baby anymore. It's time for a second one. Just saying, not gonna tell you when it's happening. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to Success Life Live, your morning show to help you get this thing right so that you can get the day right. What do I know? I know that when we focus on our success first thing in the morning, when we set our intention, set our mindset, and drill in and dive in, we're gonna live a life of success. But when we sort of wander into it and hope it just happens the way we like it to happen, it doesn't work out so well. So if you're ready, I'm ready. We're going to get our success life on. But before we get started, fitting the title of Oh, cute. So Wednesday is Author Talk with Eric K. The book is titled, Let Me Sell You Something, Achieving Success by Closing More Sales and Building Long-Lasting Relationships. Read it. Read it. Buy the book. Phenomenal. I've been in sales, I feel like all my life, but really for the last 20, 25 years, Eric is a phenomenal salesperson and sales leader and sales trainer. Lots of lessons are going to go over that Wednesday at 7 p.m. Tomorrow, Success Life Weekly goes out. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, make sure you do that. You can do so. Down on my feed, there should be a sign up link, or go over to the website ericgreid.com and sign up. There is so much good stuff in the newsletter. I've been kind of putting it off doing it because I wasn't like, I'm going to just speak. A little bit of fear, a little bit of, what do I do? How do I do it? When it's printed and put on paper, it feels more real. I don't want to make it more real, so I'm not going to do a newsletter because everybody does newsletters and I delete half of it. I didn't want to go through all that. But I said, I'm going to do it. Sit down, get it done right, get it done well. It's probably not the best because the next one's going to be better and better and better and better. But this one, I got to tell you, I'm a little bit proud of it. Can't wait to hear the feedback and follow up on it. So make sure you're signed up for the Success Life Weekly newsletter. How I've designed it, here is a success or a coaching tip, I guess I'm calling it. There's a little coaching idea, a coaching practice, a coaching thing in it that will help guide you towards living your life of success. And then 2 or 3 other comments or reminders or calendar items as well. So that is in there as well. We are going to get started. So this idea of wilderness or being lost in the wilderness, it was a download this morning because y'all told me you wanted them when I was still in the download thinking mode. So I'm gonna try and follow through. I'm gonna promise you, not every day. I gotta shut this thing off. Something just popped up and started chatting. Not gonna guarantee it, but here's the download from this morning. So wilderness living. And what I see, or where I was thinking as I was thinking on this, is that wilderness living, that idea that you are out there on your own, that you are like lost like Hansel and Gretel in the woods. Like, there is nothing happening and you have been fighting and growing and pushing and trying to get your dream going and you feel really just lost, like lost in the big dark woods. Like you can't figure out what to do, where to go, and how to get it done. As if you've been taken to a mountaintop or lost in a wilderness or out on that desert plain and you're out there humping and pumping and trying to get your thing done, trying to build your dream, trying to create the transformation, trying to create the success in your life that you want. and you feel lost in the wilderness, like lone. Like lone. You know, like when we go up to Virginia, we go wandering through the woods. My favorite thing is my son will start to get a little nervous and he'll start to talk about, are we lost? Do you know the way home, Dad? You know, he gets all concerned. And of course, half the time, honestly, I don't. Like, truth, don't tell him. I honestly don't. But I fake it anyhow because I don't want him freaking out on top of a mountaintop. But we all feel that wilderness moment. We all feel that moment when we have gone into our little thinking dens, our desks, our journals, our daytimers, and we've created this idea of what our life will look like and what we want to do and what our mission is and what our purpose is and what our passion is and like where we want to go. And sometimes that begins this time of year. And then as we begin to struggle and as we begin to push and as we begin to change and as we begin to transform, it gets lonely, it gets dark, it gets empty, it gets scary, it gets wandery. And so one of the things that I started thinking about, like, okay, when I'm in my wilderness moment, when I'm sitting there on the mountaintop by myself, or when I'm working on a project late at night, or when I'm trying to write and create, or when I'm trying to develop a business, or whatever it is, what is it I need to like keep on my little video screen in front of me as it relates to wilderness living? Like, what has got to be on my windshield to keep me? And one of the first things I wrote was avoid the need to cover self first. So often when I'm in that wilderness, it suddenly becomes an about me moment. Like, well, I need this and I need that and I want this and I want that to happen. And I start trying to figure out what I need to feed myself, to clothe myself, to care for myself. Like, I have been humping and pumping and grumping and grinding. And, you know, it'd be nice if just once somebody did this for me, or if I got this, or if I got that. And so I thought, you know what, wait a minute. Leadership and dream building is never really about our needs, but it's always about others, the legacy, the impact, and the influence. And so when I'm sitting in that wilderness moment and I start to hear self, words about myself, I want, I need, I've got to be like, whoa, shut it down. You're going to get lost in the wilderness. You keep thinking about that, Eric. Remember, wilderness living, going out there on your own, being on your own, struggling, striving, going up into the dark places to create what needs to be created so that when you come back down, guess what? It's bigger than you. It's your legacy. It's leadership. It's impacting and influencing others. It's transforming other people's lives. So you can't be hanging out in the wilderness worried about what you got, what you get, where you're at, what you need, all of that. You're going to have some starving moments, unclothed moments, you know, some tired and worn out moments in the wilderness. And then the other thing I put down was, number 2 was avoid the need to be recognized, celebrated, spectacular. When you're in that wilderness moment, when you're out there doing your thing, in your mindset, in your dream building, in your creative space, when you're off by yourself, doing you, doing your dream, don't keep looking over the fence, turning around, bending down, looking down, saying, oh, wait a minute, I didn't get the award. I didn't get nominated. I didn't get called up. Why isn't anybody celebrating all the hard work that I'm doing? Why aren't there little gold sticker stars in my journal, my notebook, my daytimer? I need to be celebrated. You know what? Leadership and living a life of success is not about celebrating in the moment, it is celebrating the moment. We get so busy worried about somebody else's idea of whether we did a good job, whether we deserved our gold star, whether we were nominated, celebrated, achieved, recognized, whatever. When you do that and you're in that wilderness, that lonely place, that creative space, that designing and developing space, if you start worrying about winning the award, winning the recognition, winning the other thing, you move out of yourself and into everybody else. You move out of your purpose, your passion, your design, your divine purpose, and you start worrying about, well, did I get enough points? Did I score enough likes? Did I shake enough hands to get nominated so I can go to the second round, third round? What? You're all focused about other instead of what you were called to do. And when we're called into that wilderness space, into that dark place, into that prayerful place, into that lonely place, into that solitude place, it's so that we can get better understanding of who we are and what we need to do and what our mission, purpose, vision is. And none of that comes with people celebrating us or sending awards or happy cookies or little crystal awards. It's so funny. I used to have an award on my wall, and I was quite proud of it. I mean, I gotta say, I'm not gonna say I wasn't proud. And it was quite an honor. There was a proclamation by the city council. It was signed by the mayor, and it was an impressive piece of paper. It was an impressive piece of paper. It was only a milestone marker in the bigger vision, mission, purpose that I was living. Had I stopped and got so focused on winning that, I wouldn't have seen the next day after it. So understand that when you're in your wilderness, when you're in your place of thought and creative and development, your day will come and there may be nobody in the room that you'll be recognized, and that's okay. And the third thing I had about being in that wilderness space, being in that place where we need to stop and think and create and reflect and connect to ourselves, that place where we have to go off by ourselves to do, to be, to find, is avoid the shortcuts. Yeah, that's a me problem. That's a me problem. That's why it's in my thinking for today. I probably should do it in the red pen. Avoid the shortcuts. It is, see, I can't even teach it without seeing myself in it. When you have to do that stuff that you got to do that you can only do by yourself, we are so tempted, and worse now than ever because of social media, to be pulled out of the moment and into a shortcut. We'll go online, we'll see a post, we'll see a tweet, we'll get an email, something will say, oh, here's the shortcut, here's the easy way, here's the 9 steps to create 7-figure income overnight while you sleep, while you're losing weight because you drank our tea thing. And those shortcuts seem really attractive. And as a matter of fact, sometimes those shortcuts actually come with testimonials of people who succeeded because of the shortcut. If you want to be a legacy builder, if you want to be a life changer, if you want to be a creator of dynamic change, ain't no milestones. I was reading Joe's. Ain't no shortcuts. And so I wrote here as I was thinking on that is leadership and living a life of success requires commitment, not shortcuts. Truth is, shortcuts rarely are shortcuts. At the start, everything looks like, and so what I was reflecting on is when you begin this lonely place, when you begin to go into your dreams, into your thoughts, into your development, into your change, into your transformation, everything looks like a shortcut, and every shortcut looks like a path to success. But as you spend more time in that wilderness, as you spend more time alone with yourself, alone with your dreams, alone with your creativity, alone with your vision, mission, purpose, pretty soon you start to look at things that's yeah, that's not really connected to me. Yeah, that doesn't really seem like the direction I want to go. It looks like it might be really cool, but and pretty soon fewer and fewer shortcuts begin to distract you. And then the shortcuts have to get bigger and more expensive and more time consuming to get your attention. But if you're really committed to your vision, if you're really committed to your purpose, if you're really committed to transforming you and impacting lives and creating legacy, there are no shortcuts. I think Jorge often finds himself at the bottom of the canyon. Yes, so true. Wile E. Coyote. It's funny as I was saying, when I go up into the mountains and I'm with my son and we're all out walking and doing things, we got the herd of kids with us, my partner and I. It's like every kid in the neighborhood says, oh, we're going to the mountains, let's go. And you look up and you'll see what looks like a shortcut to the top of the mountain or down to the river or even through the path, and you'll be like, let's take that. And as you start to go, what you realize is pretty soon the band, the herd of children are getting stuck on briar branches. One kid can't make it over the branch. One kid can't make it around the tree or under the branch or over and pretty soon you're spending so much time managing all of the things and the people, and the shortcut becomes more work than it's worth, and your frustration and your anger, and it starts to boil up. Had I just stayed to the path that we talked about, had I just stayed to the vision that was in front of me, had I just stayed to my purpose and the plan, nobody would have been scarred, broken, lost. No, I haven't lost a kid in the woods yet. Nobody would have been lost. I mean, and so often as team leaders, as family leaders, as faith leaders, as leaders, we want to take the shortcut because we want to get there sooner so people can celebrate us and then they can reward us and then we can get all the things that we need. And what ends up happening when we take that shortcut, we lose people in the path. We damage people on the journey. We lose our footing and we fall back and we waste energy and we're just so far off track and we're so distracted. So shortcuts often lead to the first thing that I was like thinking is, what distracts me into a shortcut? Wanting to be celebrated, needing to take care of myself. The first two things that I've got to learn to conquer when I'm in my wilderness time, when I'm in my alone time, when I'm in that isolation that is required to create transformation and growth in my life. All right. So as I was thinking about this wilderness thing and wilderness living or being in the wilderness, so to speak, I realized that often as entrepreneurs, creativepreneurs, mompreneurs, dadpreneurs, solopreneurs, change makers, leaders, nobody prepares us for the wilderness time. Nobody says, oh, by the way, you're going to wake up and you're going to have this vision, this mission, this purpose, this passion, this dream, this desire, and it's going to just fall upon you. And then you're going to have to go off and live in the wilderness for a while. And you're going to have to connect to it, and you're going to have to look at it, and you're going to have to grow into it, and you're going to have to understand it, and you're going to have to talk to it, and you're going to have to incorporate it, and all of that. And while you're out there in the wilderness, here's what's going to happen. No, nobody ever says that. None of the websites, the 7 figures to living your life of none of that says, by the way, you're going to have to spend some time alone. You're going to have to spend some time in isolation. You're going to have to spend some time in reflection. If you really want this mission, vision, purpose, passion to become something, if you really want to create a legacy, if you really want to make an impact, you're going to have to spend some alone time. And when you're in that alone time, you're going to be tempted. You're going to want to take care of yourself. You're going to want to be recognized. You're going to want to take shortcuts. Trust me. You're not the first person. You won't be the last person. There's probably somebody you're looking at that you think, oh no, they got it easy. They would never. Trust me, they have their wilderness moments. They have their temptations. What makes people successful, what gives you your life of success, is that you don't fall into the traps, that you recognize what needs to be done before it gets started so that you have the tools and resources in hand to conquer it and keep moving forward. It's so funny because often we forget to warn people as coaches and as dream setters that there's going to be wilderness moments. There's going to be moments when you have to go off by yourself and reconnect to your dream, reconnect to your vision, reconnect to your passion. It's okay. We all do it. If we do it right, we should be doing it daily, if not weekly. Part of what I do as part of my practice is go into my wilderness, go into that place where I can be by myself, where sometimes it's dark and creepy and scary because I have to do a lot of self-reflecting. Sometimes it's like, going to a Disney movie set wilderness where I really have a chance to feel into myself and feel into my passion and feel into my vision and feel into my dreams. And, it's like birds chirping and sun and butterflies. It goes either way. But I intentionally seek out the wilderness. I seek out the lonely time or the alone time so that I can make sure that I'm clear. And I'm clear on what it is I want to create, on the legacy that I want to create, the impact that I want to create, the change that I want to bring about in the world. Because I'm not in this for just one day. I'm not in this for just one piece of paper hanging on a wall. I'm not in this thing called life just so somebody can say, yay, Gold Star Eric, come and get your award. We're going to recognize you. And because you did it in the record-breaking time, you get 2 awards and a free steak dinner. No, I'm in this to build a life of success. To live each moment, each day, fully invested, fully committed into growing myself into the highest and best self that I can be, so that I can impact and influence and lead others to doing the same. So I like wilderness moments. I welcome wilderness moments. And I know the demons and temptations that are going to come creeping out at me. You know, the one that's going to say, well, what about you? What do you want? What do you need? What do you desire while we're here? I'll take care of it for you. Or, well, you know what? Nobody can see you here in this alone place, this quiet place. Move over here to the center. Move over here to the left. Move over here to the right. Go on live and do this. Because you got to be noticed. You got to be celebrated. You got to be recognized. And by the way, you could just cut and paste somebody else's stuff. You could download it. You could copy it. There's a shortcut. Let me show you. You'll still get there. It'll still be just as good, but the shortcut will make it easier. No. I know you temptations. I know you demons that are trying to pull me out of the wilderness. I will not go with you. Because my dream, my vision, my purpose, my passion, too big, too important. All right? All right, well, that was the download from this morning's thinking. I hope it did well. I'll have to wait for Joe. He's still catching up. Seek to find the opening in the forest. Love that. Can't say the more. But yeah, I love those moments when you're out in the woods and you're like, it's really covered and the growth is really low, and then you'll start to walk and it's almost like, the canopy will open and the sun will come down, and there's always that leaf or that something that will fall into that sunlight shaft, and it's magical. Now, I'll tell you, being in the South, we have this thing called wisteria. I know it's also in Uruguay, but when you get to go into the woods in a walk and it's just covered in wisteria and the wisteria flowers are falling, that to me is that's a magic. That's a magic I love. So thank you for joining me this morning on Success Life Live. We gather here every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. Get our mindset right, get our thinking right, begin to look at our lives in a different and bigger way so that we can live our lives bigger and different. Make sure that you sign up for the newsletter. There should be a sign up further down the link or over on the webpage, ericgreid.com. And then remember, if you know Eric K., make sure you hashtag Eric. See you on Wednesday for Author Talk. The book got put down there. I can't reach it from here. Because Author Talk is Wednesday at 7 p.m. We're going to talk about Let Me Sell You Something. It's an amazing book. Loved reading it. I've got like all kinds of notes on it. And I will tell you, as we start to move into the new year, Success Life is really going through a lot of changes. Struggling like a duck on water to keep up. Between the podcasts and then a lot more coaching and things going on as well. So do make sure you're part of the newsletter so you can stay on top of that. We may actually be expanding Author Talk. There's some things going on with that. Pat G, who was on last week, wants to do something more on a weekly, if not a monthly thing, where she can lean in and share her faith and faith growth with individuals. So if you're not on the newsletter, you might not know about these things. And then 90-day Jumpstart My Success coaching program. Filled up a couple spots, interviewing for a couple spots as the week goes on. So if you're like, hey, I want to talk to you about coaching, I want to think about coaching, I don't know what coaching looks like, can we have a conversation? Sure we can. Just reach out to me through this medium or through my website, or just email me at ericgreid.com and we'll make that happen. All right, well, I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern for another Success Life Live. Got to go off and live in the wilderness for a little bit today. Till we get together tomorrow, go out, live your life with success. It is yours and you are worthy of it. Bye-bye, everybody. Special shout out. Thank you, Joe. I love going back and reading your notes and your comments. Your insight helps me so much because often I'll go and write the blog, which will be up on this later today. And I'll go back and I'll be like, what did Joe say? What did Joe find his value? So that I can even incorporate that and consolidate that. So I really do appreciate you, Joe. You are like a gift to so many people. I think we need to just like get you, I was going to say get you an award, but that will just delete the teaching for today, won't it? But thank you again, Joe, for what you add to me and to so many other people. I will see you guys all again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.